Hello everyone and welcome to another video on the channel See It Through My Eyes. I'm Jesus and I'll be the one hosting the episode today alongside with my crazy friend Richie.
Terrible. You're fired.
Oh my god.
Never giving you control of this channel.
What do you mean? Okay, so today we have a few questions themed around uh the concept of cheating. Let us know how you guys feel about these questions, or if you guys want to leave your own answers to these questions, uh, please feel free to do so in the comments. If you guys want more content like this, please hit the like and share
And subscribe.
and subscribe.
Now, why are you asking me these specific questions, Jesus?
Well, I just thought it would be a good conversation, and since you have experience,
Oh, just a little.
you know, I just figured it would be a fun time.
I've been dating since the age of 5.
Oh my
Or 3.
god.
Some
I don't
people
know
say.
whether that's concerning or are you okay?
Yeah. Therapy helps.
Oh my god. Okay. So, for the first question I have, could you be friends with someone who is cheating on their partner?
I would say yeah. I've been friends with people who cheated on their partners, because at the end of the day, my relationship with you and your relationship with someone else are two completely different things. I think the better question is if you condone it, because you can condemn it and then still love and care about that person. But I, to me now, at 32 years old, the way that I see things, recently a mutual friend of me and a friend of ours,
Mhm.
um, I found out that we went back to cheating on our partners and just being, quote unquote player.
Mhm.
Um, and for me, at the age that we're all around the same age. It's ridiculous, but everybody's going through their own shit, you know. And I remember having the conversation with the mutual friend that we have, uh, that I told him, for me, because I don't have any connection anymore to that individual. Me and this mutual friend, the mutual friend that we have, obviously we do. Okay, the mutual friend is Ian.
Oh my god.
it's, now people are gonna get confused.
Okay.
But I remember having the conversation with Ian about that former friend of mine that's still friends with him. And I mentioned to him how, like, if me and him were to reconnect as friends, I'm not too sure how close I will keep him, because full transparency, I'm in a relationship and I'm happy right now. And I'm very protective over my relationship, but I'm also very aware about the way that I carry myself and also the influences that I have around me. So I know my partner nurse also feel some type of way about the influences that I might have, because I know for me, if my partner in a relationship is friends with somebody who's out there cheating, I would kind of give them the side eye, like, how do I know you're not out there? That insecurity, that distrust will come in. And anybody who tells me, oh, you should trust, you should trust, it's a human flaw. Of that question, that doubt will creep in. I don't care who you are. Or you'll just be like, hey, I don't want, that type of influence around you. We're good. Can you, like, keep a certain distance or whatever? Because at the end of the day, the other person's responsible for what their actions are. So that's what I gotta say.
I, because I sat on this for a while, right? Because I originally saw a video about this and I just wrote it down as like one of those things. Um, and I don't think I could, like, depending on the context of like the cheating, right? Um, if they're just doing it because they want to, right? Like, let's say they're in a good relationship,
Mm.
right? And they just, they're like, oh, I'm seeing someone, but don't say anything, I personally would feel really bad. And then it's like, if you do that to someone that you're with, right?
Mm,
Then I'm thinking about it in another aspect of like our friendship, right? Can I trust you to be a good friend? You know? Because I think, you're doing something as wrong as that
mm,
for no reason, right? Mind you, because that's like the context that I put it in.
mm,
And so that's why to me, it's like in that context, I would not be able to like be friends with someone who cheats. And I get that, people are gonna say like, oh, cheating is not just this black and white thing. Regardless, I think it's wrong,
mm,
you know, because you do have people who cheat and that person is in an unfortunate relationship where the relationship is really really bad,
mm,
and that person is not, again, on both sides, they're not getting whatever they are seeking from the relationship. It's just the context of the relationships. And I think on that aspect, because their relationship is bad, I would kind of check them, to be like, hey, maybe you should get out of this and stop, looking for whatever you're missing in this relationship elsewhere while you're in it, you know? And if they didn't do that, then I would have to consider like not being friends with them either. Because they're like, you're putting yourself in more bullshit, right? Continuing to be in this bad relationship, quote unquote, and also continuing to look for other things, right?
mm.
And I think again, I just couldn't, like, regardless of the context.
Uh, Something that I want to also add,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, the context you're putting it in does kind of paint a little black and white. Now, full transparency, in my past, I have cheated multiple times in many of my relationships,
Right.
and it's not something that I wear on my sleeve like a badge. I'm not proud of it, and it was for different reasons and depending on the relationship and the partner that I was in. But at the end of the day, it was still the actions that I made and the decisions that I took that weren't right. Um, and it took a lot for me to work on myself to come to that realization that cheating is bad regardless. Um, Now going back to the friend thing, like I said, I for me I wouldn't break that relationship with my friend, but at the same time, and I should have had this earlier, I wouldn't just also be standing by and being and condoning it either,
Right.
because I would be trying to push like, hey, dude, are you sure you're doing the right thing? Think about it, because you are playing with people's feelings, you are playing with people's emotions, people's trust, and you are scarring people for you're leaving a very deep scar in people that it's gonna take them a while for them to get over. And I think if I have my biases, if let's say I'm also friends with their partner, now they're my friends also, then I'm stuck in the middle. And I have been in those type of situations in many times in my past where I was in between the couple, not like that, in between the
Mm.
couple, and I'm friends with both of them, and I would have to be like, okay, I don't know what to do because I can't throw one friend under the bus for the other friend, but I
Mm-hmm.
also can't stand by and let my other friend over my other friend. So
Oh, that's.
it's always it was always a complicated situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um
What did you ultimately decide to do?
at different times I did different things.
Mm-hmm.
There was one time where I did have to tell my friend like, hey, I love my friend, but I don't stand by it. I told him that, I couldn't. This is happening, yeah. And then there were times where it was actually the same couple. It happened again with a different person that he was cheating on her with. I was just like, I just threw my hands in the air. You stood with them. I'm not gonna keep playing referee because this happened for at least 2 3 years where I was being put in the middle of their relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
not just me, but I'm the one speaking on it. And I even put sometimes my own relationship aside to deal with their shit, you know. Um, and it's not a desirable place to be If there is a marriage or if there are children involved, especially, I think that's even worse and harder. Um, I think at that point, if your friend is choosing to continue the cheating, then you do have to make that call of like, okay, am I gonna stand by, or I would rather distance myself and maybe not cut them out completely, but distance myself and be like, you know what, dude, at the end of the day, it's your decision, but I
Mm-hmm.
can't stand idly by and let you hurt other people and fuck up your own life. I'm respecting your decision. I'm also, because I love you and I care about you and I respect you, man to man. I'm telling you how I feel, or man to woman, whatever. I'm telling you how I feel, because you're my friend, and that's what real friends do. They hold each other accountable. At that point, it's just do what you got to do. I'm gonna be over here. I just don't want nothing. I don't want to be involved. I don't want to get dragged into it. I want nothing to do with it. But that's my answer.
It's a very poignant answer. Um, so now I have two more questions on this subject. So my second question is kind of worded in a long way. So let me try to word this as best as I can here. If a person wants to cheat, thinks about cheating, and would cheat given the first opportunity, but never cheats because they never got the opportunity, are they any better than a person that actually cheats? Sorry, that was a mouthful.
Uh,
That was a mouthful. I'm sorry.
it's his first time interviewing.
Yeah.
Um, I kind of want to remove the idea of whether somebody who cheats is good or bad,
Okay.
because I want to leave that up to the actions. Let's
Okay.
judge the actions and not the person, because at the end of the day, the person who's cheating, whether or not they admit it, they're hurting inside too. And it's not to condone their actions. If anything, it's to condemn them, and it's to hold them responsible for their actions. Because I've said this in the past, when people help me to open up my eyes and realize what I was doing in my past was wrong and help me change, it wasn't by shaming me. It wasn't by telling me you're the problem, this and that. If anything, the ones that did that pushed me further to want to continue to cheat, want
Right.
me to continue to be toxic and all that. So I kind of want to remove that, because if for whatever reason there's something in you that you want to cheat but you just don't have that opportunity, the question is why. Like, what's going on inside of you that is creating that desire for you to want to cheat? Maybe you're scared of commitment. Maybe you feel like you're not getting what you wanted in this relationship. And for anybody who finds themselves in that type of situation, my advice is always leave. Just leave the relationship. Just, you're going to hurt them worse if you're saying, oh well, if I leave, leave them, I don't want to hurt them because I don't want to hurt them. I mean, I don't want to leave them because I don't want to hurt them. You're going to hurt them worse. You got me? Like, you're going to make things worse if you stick around with that type of ideology. And you know if the opportunity ever comes, then what? You got
Mm-hmm.
me? Like, if you don't address and solve that issue, that root cause that is creating that desire in you to want to cheat, but you just haven't had the chance, it's never going to fade away. You might be able to, suppress it and bury it down for a while, but it's always going to be there. And the first chance that you get, you're going to take it. I was with somebody years ago, almost a decade ago actually. We were
Damn.
and she had a bad habit of lying to me when she wanted to get me upset.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that she broke up with me, and then I think I was trying to get back with her because I cared about the chick, and I remember her telling me, "Oh yeah, I'm talking to this guy, but I'll think about it." And my first reaction was like, "Well, fuck you then," and that where I was at that time, right? If that happened today, I would just be like, "All right, I tried. I'm moving on." But in the old version of Richie, What I ended up doing, I had somebody on my phone, and I was like, cool. I went, slept with her, came back, and then this person was like, okay, I'm ready to get back together.
Messy.
I choose you over him.
Oh my
And I was
God.
just like, okay, well, before we start anything, I just want to let you know that I slept with this person. Now, in my mind, it's fair, right? We're not together. It's not cheating. And you told me that you were talking to another dude either way. So there shouldn't be no problem. Well, come to find out, she lied.
Oh.
She was testing me.
Yo.
And clearly I failed.
So you said bet double it and just kind of
Because at that time, that's how I used to think.
that's how it was.
It was pride and ego that I was like, I'm never going to let someone get one over me. I was cheated on. Matter of fact, and it's not to condone or justify anything that I did, but to explain some of the roots. Long time ago, I was in high school, freshman year. I met a senior, and she was dating somebody that I was acquainted with. Now, I was coming out of a relationship, so I rebounded. And this female was my first love, my first everything. So when she broke up with me, I was a mess, dude. Here comes this woman, because, I mean, she was 19 and I was 16 or 15.
My goodness.
And she, we became friends, and she started giving me the eyes, For months, I was a side piece. And not even a side piece, because technically we weren't together. But she would always, oh, let me think about it. Let me think about it. And because at the time, yeah. And then eventually I got so fed up, and I was like, you need to choose him or me. Oh. And the thing that she would tell me, I can see him, I love him, but I'm not physically attracted to him. I'm physically attracted to you, and the first thing, yeah. But I can't love you. Ah! Oh, brother. Not the first time that happened to me. But that I remember that crushed me, because, if I'm being honest, I wasn't physically attracted to the female. Okay. But I did think that she was a pretty cool girl. Woman, whatever. Okay. So after her best friend basically did the same thing to me. Oh my God. She had me as a side piece and everything. And I started noticing that after that relationship, something in me woke up. And I started telling myself, I'm never going to let another woman do that to me. So instead, what I did, I was the one who was cheating now. Any opportunity that I would get in my relationships where I felt, oh, see, they must be cheating on me. Before they cheat on me, let me cheat on them. And I was in high school at the time.
That was you overthinking and everything, right?
Because it was that paranoia. And not to, make this a whole Richie therapeutic thing, but also because I didn't have positive role model of what a healthy relationship was growing up. Right. So I grew up with a very negative perspective of a relationship. So, and even my first relationship, she was great. Just the only issue, we were kids, and she was going through her stuff. So it almost felt like I had a resentment towards life, because I was like, the only good thing that is in my life is being taken away from me, because her parents were, they were, so then I opened my heart to a whole new person, and then they treat me like this. And then after, here comes another one, treats me exactly the same. So what I'm getting at, a lot of the time in us, it's that fear of being hurt and that sense of wanting to have control. Because we think if we control them, they won't hurt us. Or if we mistreat them, we hurt them, we cheat on them, they're not going to do to us what we're scared of. And a lot of the time that actually happens. That's at least the results that we see. Because the other person is being hurt so much, they don't have, maybe they just don't have it in them to cheat. They don't have the time to cheat. So they are right there, and they're taking all the shit until they can't take shit no more. Right? But then there are those who will mutually cheat on each other as well. So with that being said, cheating is wrong. Okay? All right? Don't do it. Any young people, guys, be careful with the relationships you get into. Don't believe the bullshit that you're listening to on in music and in movies and all that. That cheating and hurting others, you gotta hurt them before they hurt you. Then don't get into a relationship. Cause if you're that hurt and that paranoid, you need to heal first before you get into a relationship. Take it from somebody who has been around the block and around the block and around the block and around everybody else's block a couple times.
Oh my god.
So I have the experience to speak on it, and I can proudly say that I've worked hard on it to change who I am now from who I was even 10 years ago, even 2 years ago from who I am now. So, next question.
For the third and final question, do you think people would treat relationships differently if there wasn't any outside judgment?
Hmm. I think it's a case by case. I think some, yeah.
So,
Those who are easily influenced,
mhm,
especially younger people who are influenced by their peers'
mhm,
opinions. I think it is, or even their family,
yeah.
or just mainstream media.
Mhm.
I think it. Now, did you say get into a relationship or cheat?
I just said like relationships in general. Like, do you think they would be treated like differently if there wasn't any outside judgment?
Like I said, I think it's a case by case. I think, like I said, those who are influenced by those type of influences, uh, if you remove that factor, I think it would change that.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are those who are in relationships, but because of whatever they're carrying or maybe their own personality, that's what causes the relationships to be. Because
Mm-hmm.
I've known people who are surrounded by people who, the if the person is cheating or mistreating their partner, and everybody around this person is telling them, hey, don't do that, come on, man, you're better than that. But yet they choose to continue being, toxic and abusive and whatever.
Yeah.
That kind of proves that, not all the time it's nature versus nurture. Like I said, I think it's just every situation, every relationship it's going to be different, and what influences it's will also be different, and the outcome will also be different.
All right then. Well,
Well, thank you, Jesus, for this opportunity on
hell
Valentine's
yeah.
Day
Oh, hell yeah.
to have this conversation. I think a lot of people can relate to what we discussed today.
Yes.
Whether you've been cheated on, you cheated. It does, and I'm not trying to make light of it. If you have been cheated on, my heart to you. You deserve better. But if you also have a past of cheating on others, you deserve better, and you can be better than that. I believe in you. I really do. You know, uh, don't let outside influences, like the last question, get into your relationship. This relationship, unless it's an open relationship, but if it's a relationship with you and your partner, that's all the two people that should matter. And if you can't manage that type of relationship and you need outside influences, then you do not belong in a relationship right now. So treat yourself how you deserve, treat others how they deserve. Love is beautiful, guys. And a relationship is about two people. And it's one of the most hardest things that I have lived through and come across and experienced. But I will always fight for love, as corny as that sounds. It's beautiful, and it's one of the most hardest things because you never know when you enter a relationship what the other person will treat you and give you and take, right? But you always have to ask yourself when you enter that relationship, who are you with? Who are you? And what are you looking for in this relationship? And for all my happy couples, especially on Valentine's Day, I wish you the best. All my single people out there, I send you guys love. Don't give up. If you're looking for a relationship, don't quit on yourself. All right, you will find the right person. Let's hold on to hope, guys. Because nowadays we see all this negativity being spread. Or oh, it's better to be alone. Oh, And hey, if you want to and you choose to stay single, power to you. But my thing, love and happiness and healing in any type of relationship, romantic, platonic, familial, or the relationship you have with yourself. So thank you for tuning in. I'm Richie, the interviewee. Here we were Jesus, the interviewer. See it through my eyes. Jesus, wrap it up.
Thanks, you guys, for watching. If you guys made it this far, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments, share. Don't be afraid to subscribe. We're trying to reach a goal here, maybe 150 by the end of March. Again, thanks for joining us, and hope you guys have a wonderful evening and or day.
And don't be scared to love, y'all.
Bye.